And football fans have been expressing their frustration and dismay at their team's lacklustre goalless draw against Algeria last night. Now, the result means England need to win their final group game against Slovenia next week to be sure of progressing to the knockout stages of the tournament. Meanwhile, the FA's complained to FIFA after a fan managed to get into the England dressing room and vent his anger at the team's performance. The Cape Town Stadium's managing director says that a full investigation is underway into the security breach. Well, my colleague Ben Brown is in Cape Town for us. Ben.
Yeah, Maxine, thank you very much indeed. I think the only good news for England fans here today on the morning after the night before is that the sun is shining and that the scenery is, as you can see, absolutely fantastic. England fans been having their breakfast, reading the papers, and really the mood you detect among the supporters here is not just disappointment about that performance last night, but real anger. Anger that the fans had paid huge amounts of money to come all the way to South Africa to see their team and to see what they think was really a dismal performance. And anger too about Wayne Rooney's comments as he trudged off the pitch, sarcastically criticising England's fans for booing their team. England fans saying they've got a right to boo their team after a performance like that. Well, let's get a report now on what happened last night in that dismal 0-0 draw with Algeria from our sports correspondent, James Pearce.
It's a long way to come to see your team let you down. Many were still in shock when they left. England fans have had their fair share of frustration over the years, but rarely has it been as bad as this.
I can't believe I came here all the way to South Africa to watch that. Really, I really can't.
Inside the stadium, many supporters had made their feelings known at the final whistle. Enough to prompt this reaction from the man on whom so many hopes had rested.
Nice to see the whole fans booing you.
England had simply misfired from start to finish. The fans probably thought that it could only get better, but it didn't. The unlikely star of the first half, a bird, so confident that England wouldn't find the back of the net that it made its home there. A match with no goals and hardly any highlights. Yes, there were a couple of chances in the second half, but in truth, England never looked like scoring. Some fans had packed up and gone home long before the end. Fabio Capello headed off to the dressing room, where one supporter managed to get in too. The FA is complaining to FIFA about that, but it was a team's performance about which the fans were complaining.
They seemed extremely nervous. They couldn't link up together. They were disjointed.
They can't put two passes together. We didn't have a shot on goal. They're rubbish, absolute rubbish.
England's stuttering performance will be analysed over and over again, but answers will need to be found quickly. One more slip-up against Slovenia next week, and England's World Cup will be over. James Pearce, BBC News, Cape Town.
Well, there were thousands and thousands of England fans in the Cape Town Stadium last night. 64,000 was the capacity of the ground there, and many of the fans we've been talking to this morning so disappointed and indignant about that England performance.
Amazingly disappointed. We travelled thousands of miles, spent a lot of money to come and see the boys, and I think they really let us down. We really felt, as a group, we felt they let us down.
We've all travelled a long way. We'd like to see England tear them apart, live up to all the hype that the players have put themselves through the first game, before the game. I don't think they really came to play.
We came here hoping England were going to go a long way in the tournament, and I think it's looking increasingly less and less likely. I mean, Wayne Rooney can't, you know, he's complaining about us, but he can't even control a football, really. You know, he's our best player. Massively, massively disappointing.
There you go, the damning verdicts of some England fans. Let's talk to a few more live here in Camps Bay, where we are, just outside Cape Town. We're joined by Michael, Elliot and Craig Small. Thank you very much for talking to us. Michael, what was your view of last night's game?
Very, very, very disappointing, and very annoyed now to hear Wayne Rooney's comments, because as we were talking over breakfast, you know, this guy earns more in a day than we've saved over 4 years to come to the World Cup. So unbelievable.
Just give us an idea how much it's cost you, if you would, to come to this.
Well, if you include everything, it'll be not far short of £20,000. So if you say over 4 years, you save £5,000 a year, which is quite a lot. That's what Rooney earns in a day, and he has that gall to say that to us. very disappointing.
Yeah, and you think, so having spent that much money, you've got the right to boo him if you want to, and boo the rest of the team?
I think the whole team needed booing. They need something to wake them up. There was no passion in the game whatsoever. There was no hard tackle. There was nothing that gave us any insight that they wore this with pride.
What about you, Elliot and Craig? What did you think of the game?
It's disappointing overall to see. I mean, you go there and there was not a moment in the game where you could really cheer. We only had 3 shots in total, I believe. One of them on target, which was a good shot by Lampard, but other than that, I mean, there's not a turning point game or a turning moment in the game to cheer them.
Any hope of beating Slovenia? I mean, England could still get through if they can beat Slovenia.
We'll beat Slovenia. I'm still confident. I'm remaining positive among these glum people. I'm here for a holiday now. We'll beat Slovenia and England will still go through.
And what about after that, though?
Then I'm going home, so I don't care.
Well, that's honest, at least. There you go. As you can tell, some really pretty passionate views among the England fans, particularly, Maxine, about those comments from Wayne Rooney.
Ben, for the moment, thank you very much indeed. And your comments are coming in thick and fast to us here on the news channel. On our text line, 61124 is the number. If you've got a comment on this or any story today, we were saying Capello should have had Michael Owen on the bench. He might well have scored a typical late goal. That coming from one texter. Less sightseeing, more training, says another. But some of you are on the other side. Shame on you English fans and media. You don't know how lucky we are. So these people putting down the English team are pathetic. For goodness sake, support your team. Don't you think they feel bad enough without getting bashed by the armchair footballers? That's from Jay Driver in Kettering. So let us know your thoughts, 61124.
This evening, in fact, it's back to Rustenburg for the team and indeed back to the drawing board, it would seem, at the World Cup. They have one last chance indeed to save their World Cup. They have to beat Slovenia on Wednesday, or they'll be coming home early, having failed in one of the easiest groups of all. Certainly doesn't seem a happy camp at the moment, with the mood summed up by Wayne Rooney, who led all the crowd booing at the end, really get under his skin.
Nice to see home fans booing you.
Despite Rooney's protestations, England's performance hardly merited many cheers. Robert Green was demoted to the bench. His replacement, David James, set the night's nervy tone with an early flap. England had to wait half an hour for their first meaningful effort. Steven Gerrard's shot was on target, but devoid of any threat. Frank Lampard's effort had more venom, but no more success. Fabio Capello's body language didn't imply the half-time talk would be a quiet, contemplative 15 minutes. England had slightly more urgency after the break, but good moves just broke down. Algeria continued to frustrate their more illustrious opponents, content not to really create chances of their own. With all the pre-match talk concerning who would be keeping goals out, it seemed England hadn't given sufficient thought to who might be putting them in. Whatever Capello tried to change, it just didn't come off.
Over the top for a goal kick.
Algeria celebrated their first ever World Cup finals clean sheet like a victory. A goalless draw for England tasted more like a defeat.
Boos ring around the Cape Town Stadium.
A win for Capello's men over Slovenia would do. Nothing less will silence the boos. Ian Moss, BBC News.
Well, Fabio Capello says the pressure got to the players, he thinks, and he must work out how to get the players to do what they achieve in training on the pitch when it matters. This was Gareth Barry's first involvement in this World Cup. He says the team even still has what it takes to go through.
We were confident before the game. You know, we know we're good enough to win the game, but probably attacking today, we didn't go with enough purpose. You know, we weren't lively enough. We didn't take the game to them really. Probably showed them a little bit too much respect. Fair play to them. They played a good game. You can't take that away from them. But we know if we do raise our game, we can beat Slovenia.
We wanted to win, without doubt. But unfortunately for us, I mean, Algeria made it a very difficult game and didn't want to lose, more so than wanting to win the game. I don't think they had a clear opportunity on goal today, so it was difficult.
Later